Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining PYP Boxing. We have a couple of special guests today. We have Boxing with Chris from New York City joining us, man. How you doing?
What's going on, guys? Pleasure to be here, joining the fellas, talking some boxing.
Yeah. First time I work with you. You've worked with David. You've had us on your show. I haven't done your show. Maybe I'll get to do one time, man. It's the big time over there in the Big Apple. We also have Albert from South Texas Boxing News. Albert is a cameraman, reporter down here in the grassroots of boxing. He also helps me out with a lot of that badass editing for those local grassroots boxing shows I do here in Texas. He's the best at editing fights, man. We can't have him editing the top rank and the zone stuff because, they kick us out and they do all kinds of stuff to us on YouTube. But Albert's here with us, man. Albert, how you doing?
I'm doing good. How are y'all?
Good, man. This is a good show, man. I got two experts from two parts of the country, and I'm excited to ask you guys these questions. All of us saw the fights last night. I know Albert didn't get to see the main event, but let's go ahead and start with Chris. What did you think about the whole show last night in Chicago? Did Oscar do his thing? Did he bring boxing back to Chicago? Let's go ahead and talk about the event and how good it was out there first. If it was good, Chris, what do you think? Did he put on a good show? Golden Boy do their thing?
Definitely over exceeded the expectations that I had for the event. I thought it would be just a mid-event. It was maybe one of those events where I thought he was just throwing the hook in the water, see how many fish he can get. But from the information I hear, it was good. It wasn't the United Center, but it was still a good atmosphere, a good venue. The people were good. They enjoyed boxing. They said they even drew in a lot of casuals due to the fact that they haven't had boxing there in so many years. So I haven't heard no bad feedback. I can say for the last 24 hours that I've spoken to anybody that's been out there. A couple people from Cleveland that I knew was out there, and a couple friends from Chicago told me that they'll be back. They underestimated the venue, but they'll definitely be back if another fight gets presented to them, which hopefully they should bring back more boxing to the Midwest, Detroit, Chicago, Ohio, things of that sort.
Yeah, Ohio has a lot of guys, man. The Mason brothers out there. I think, you got Coach Vi out there and all those people, Duke Reagan. You got a bunch of guys out there in the Midwest. Albert, me and you were talking last night about, the event being pretty good out there. And we were trying to remember some fights that have happened in Chicago, good ones in the past. We were thinking of some that you remember any?
Yeah, I actually did see the main event. I saw the main event and the co-main event. And
Okay.
I got some, nostalgia memories from watching that card. I think the last time there was a Chicago big card like that, like Mr. Chris was saying, was probably when David Diaz fought, if I'm not
Yeah.
mistaken, when he won his first world title. I could be wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong, but those are the feelings I was getting, and the atmosphere from the television. It was just electric, especially for that main event, because especially the way Duarte labeled it, Mexico versus USA. So that hyped up the people even more. It was very entertaining.
Yeah, man, it was exciting for us here because PYP Boxing is the home for Oscar De La Hoya News. We love Oscar De La Hoya. Me and David, that is our favorite Chicano boxer of all time. David, don't be lying, man. You know you love Oscar. Anyway, man, listen, let's get into the fights. Duarte versus Sims. You know what? I clearly saw it for Duarte. I think he did his thing. Pressure. He had the bigger shots. But man, then I saw late at night, I saw True School Media Sports. He was saying Sims should have won that fight. I really didn't think it was that close. I saw it again today. Sims did box a little bit. How did you see it? Break it down for us, Chris. Who won and how did it go?
I had Duarte winning convincingly. Sims he had a good fight, but it was just levels. It's just levels. There's nothing he did to Duarte that Duarte could respect other than Duarte's slow feet. The output, accuracy, the cutting off the ring, not giving him room to breathe. Sims did have good moments, but nothing great. Didn't land big punches, didn't win any exchanges, but you know, the hometown kid, people wanted the hometown kid to win. Him coming out with G Herbo, if you know who that is, the rapper, trying to, but that doesn't mean anything. At the end of the day, you got to fight. You got to fight. And I feel like in boxing, pressure fighters are getting more of the nod. That shouldn't mean that they should, but if the guy's coming forward for the majority of the fight, but in Duarte's case, actually landing a good amount of punches. If he threw 15 punches, 6 were getting in there, which is over 40%. You know, like I said, he closed the distance really good on a guy that was moving. There's nothing you can say. The guy comes to fight, and the guy's a tough out for anybody. So this win is looking good on Ryan Garcia's resume due to the fact that he stopped him.
Yeah, that is a damn good win on the resume, man. Al, what did you think about the main event, man?
I'm with Mr. Chris. I thought Duarte did win. I thought, like I told you last night, that was an honest decision. It looks like he's been getting better with every fight since the Ryan fight. He looks like he's more comfortable with his boxing, putting the pressure, the relentless pressure. I mean, I think I heard Sergio Mora say he's built like a guy with a lot of muscle that doesn't move too well. Maybe he doesn't, but he does have power. You can tell. And he looked very, very good against Sims.
Yeah, he did. Hey, Chris, listen, man. After the fight, Duarte just freaking called out Subriel like Subriel is nobody, and he also called out Pitbull. I like a guy like Kurt Scooby for him. Who would you like to see him fight next, and why?
At 140, considering, to be honest, he's not gonna get that Gary Russell fight.
That would be a good one, yeah.
He is more likely. I would like to see him in there with a Jack Catterall, a Richardson Hitchens. I would like to see him with one of those because, he brings the pressure, and yes, he's got the slow feed, but he's economical and accurate with his punches. So he's not going to waste any punches, and then having Robert Garcia in his corner has done a lot of good for him. I feel like some coaches are good for the fundamentals and stuff, but what Robert Garcia has brought for Oscar Duarte has been conditioning and just a relentless game plan. Like, he works more with his strengths than his weaknesses, which is good for Oscar Duarte. And considering 140 arguably was the best division maybe about just 2 months ago before Devin Haney moved up. It was in arguably with the best division. Some people say 154 now, but it's definitely between 140 and 154, arguably the best divisions in boxing.
Yeah. Al, who would you like to see him up against, man? We were talking about Tito Mercado. Would you like to see him fight Tito Mercado?
I honestly would like to see him fight a realistic fight because I know, like I told you this yesterday, we were talking about Tito Mercado. Calling out the names, but what realistic fight is there for Duarte for Golden Boy Promotions? Who at 140 can he fight? Who do you guys think? Just I'm asking.
I mean, maybe one of the guys on the undercard on the co-main.
I feel like anything DAZN related, he has a chance. That's why I don't give him the shot with Gary Russell because the PBC, and I know with Chris Turk-Yalashik, he's making these fights happen. I think realistically, so he has a better chance of actually getting a Richardson Hitchinson fight before he could get any of these other guys. A Richardson Hitchens like I said, if you want to step him into the title contention right away, but if you just maybe want to give him another fight, give him a vet. I would like to see him and Regis Prograis. I would like to see him and maybe we just give him the champ. Why not? I feel like you gotta make these defenses. He's top 5 in every sanctioning body, but WBA's is the route that he went. I don't know why guys just don't go IBF, considering that they're the only sanctioning bodies that enforces mandatory. So
yeah. If he was my picks are, if he fights a champion, I'd like it to be Gary Russell. I think that'd be a really good matchup and a fun thing for me to see. This is my opinion. And you know what? I'd like to see him fight Tito Mercado because that'd be a good test for Tito too. And I'm a big Tito guy, and Tito can't find a lot of fights right now. So
would that be a co-promotion though? Right?
It has to be a co-promotion. Eddie Hearn and Oscar are not too friendly, but they have been lately. I don't know. They sat together.
No, they're not. They still do business because they know
still do business. Yeah,
they still do business. They're definitely not fond of each other, but they're gonna do at least 4 joint shows a year. So that's why I said anything with DAZN, it's a more realistic opportunity. Like I can see him getting, any fight with the zone, maybe even ESPN before he gets anybody with the PBC.
Yeah, yeah. Hey, listen, guys, the co-main event, I think freaking Oscar did a great job of matching these two dudes up. Everybody was kind of counting these two dudes out. We kind of wanted to see if it was going to be their last hurrah or what. But shit, now everybody's calling for a rematch, or everybody wants to see these guys with other guys. Did these guys steal the show? And did they show us that they still got more? Chris, go ahead.
Absolutely. Regis Prograis just didn't have some legs under him at first, but it was a hell of a fight. I feel like Jojo Diaz was strong because, he was a featherweight and he's near his walk-around weight, considering this fight was at, 142 pounds?
Yeah.
A featherweight. This guy was basically walking. It's like Conor Crawford Canelo walking around at a healthy walk-around weight. So he was about, maybe, if I had to take a guess, maybe at least 150-ish last night. So he had some good thud on his shots, but Prograis would land good shots, but he would land one big shot on Prograis, being me, other than Josh Taylor, being one of the first men to visibly hurt Prograis on more than one occasion. And it sucks that that somebody had to lose in a fight like that. That's really what really sucks, because could have really went either way. When you look at the more cleaner shots, I feel like Jojo Diaz did land the cleaner shots, but the more higher output and the punches that, especially in the second half of the fight, definitely got to go to Regis Prograis.
Hey, listen, man. Mile High Hustle just joined us. Mile High, I think I hear a little bit of back.
You get some feedback?
Yeah, a little bit, man. Little lower tongue. But Mile High,
how's
Chris,
that?
and Albert, yeah, we're good now. I don't hear any of it. But guys, Mile High is a professional boxer who just had his debut recently within these last 2 weeks. I did call and call one of his fights ringside with a friend of mine, Cholo Trucker, on a pay-per-view that he had on the Content Creator Fight Series. Thank you for joining us, Connor. This is Chris right up there, a big reporter from the Big Apple. Chris, this is Connor. And then you also got Albert Vasquez down here from South Texas Boxing News. Mile High, you joined us a little bit late, man. Thank you. I reached out to you just a couple of hours ago. Thank you for always making it. But listen, man, we were talking about the fights yesterday. The question right now is, and then I'll go to you, Albert. The question right now is, did Regis and Jojo steal the fight, the show last night? Did they steal the show last night?
From what I got to see, yeah, I thought so. I don't think either guy lost in that fight. Both their stocks went up. The thing with Progress, I think he's kind of like, I don't know, like I heard him not talking about wanting to take on, Vargas and a couple up and comers, that he's just looking for big paydays. And I was like, wow. I mean, I think that's what's wrong with boxing, is not wanting to fight these up and coming kids and give them their chance. You know what I mean? Their shot. You see these older guys trying to hold on to the reins, and it becomes just a money game, or a game of basically protect, my record. It's just a bad thing for boxing. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Listen, Albert, how about you, man? Did they steal the show last night? And is that a candidate for Fight of the Year?
In my humble opinion, they did steal the show. In my humble opinion, I thought it was a draw. I thought it was a very, very close fight. I don't think anybody thought Jojo Diaz was going to hurt Prograis in that first round. I think he surprised a lot of people. Now also working with Oli Ayala, giving him those that he used to fight back in the day. That made it a very competitive fight. And like Mile High Hustle just said, their stock went up and they'll get another payday.
Yeah, I'm still hearing that, Mile High. You could maybe. Now, Chris, back to you, man. After the fight, Regis Prograis addressed Vargas and Moten, calling him out, saying, "Hey, man, I'm not for fighting these up and comers right now. I only want big money fights." Do you blame him for something like that, or has Regis earned the right to say things like that?
I feel like he's earned the right due to the fact that he's fought the top guys, being a champion himself, and boxing is a game you don't go backwards. I'm sorry, you don't. It's not a lot of times where the 35-year-old is gonna give the 22, 23-year-old that has nothing to offer. Like Kermel hasn't even headlined his own card yet, a free card at that. Neither has Emiliano. We're talking about a guy, Regis Prograis, just about a year ago was, defending the title against Devin Haney. So, fourth in the unification against Josh Taylor in the UK. So when you look at that, yeah, I kind of don't blame him. He probably just wants another shot at the apple, whether it's a title eliminator or an opponent that is a big name with some money attached to it. But let's be real, a Kermel Moten fight and Emiliano Vargas fight doesn't do him well financially. It just doesn't at this age, and I don't blame him.
Yeah, yeah. How about you, Albert? Do you blame him for telling Carmel and Vargas, look, man, I'm not into fighting up and comers right now, man. I need big money fights and I want a belt. Did he earn that right?
Yeah, I think so because I think Chris Mannix asked him if he wanted to have the rematch with Jojo Diaz, and he says basically it has to make sense money wise. He's
Right.
looking to go forward. Yeah, it was a close fight, but I think that fight will only happen with Jojo is if the money is right for him. And yeah, I think he wants another title shot to get another big fight and a big payday.
Right, right. Yeah. Hey, man, listen, Connor, Mile High, listen, you're a boxer. You're an up and coming boxer. If you called out somebody of that status and they told you that, how would you feel?
I understand. You gotta earn your place. You know what I mean?
Right.
It sucks for somebody like Benavides. You know what I mean? People saying he is going to cut his own road, and he's done that. Even moved up the weight. But when you go up to the next weight and the next champion does that to you, what do you do, man? When these promote not even the promoters, but the sanctioned bodies they protect them. You know what I mean? And it's I just think it's bad for boxing. I get it though. Chris was right. You gotta earn your spot. So I do get it. He's an older man, as I am. I got started way late in the game. To be honest with you, I just want to do it the best I can for as long as I can. So I know I'm not gonna try to challenge for a title. A lot of people weren't gonna fight me just because they feel like I'm too old for them. You know what I mean? And it could be damaging to one of their careers, them coming up and losing to an older man. You know what I mean? Or looking bad,
Yeah.
or not looking good against somebody that they should probably just whoop.
Yeah. 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 Listen, man, there was another fight, an up and coming guy on Golden Boy, Yair Manotas Gallardo. I don't know if anybody saw him, but they've been pushing this guy kind of hard. Oscar de la Hoya put him on the card last night, and he looked pretty good, man. Manotas Gallardo has manotas, man. Big fucking hands. He's a powerful guy. He's a come forward dude. Did any of you guys see him?
Yes, I paid attention, didn't watch the whole thing, but I've been watching him.
I think he
He's
needs a
he's
little more. I
improving.
think he needs to learn on a. I think he needs a jab. I think he needs footwork. The power's fucking there. And what do you think? What did you think of Manotas Gallardo?
Like any fighter's got to do the improvement. It's got a lot to work with. So I try not to rush fighters now because we've seen what happens when you try to rush fighters. So I try to have more patience depending on the age and the situation on the background. So considering his circumstances, hopefully maybe in another year or two, the conversation between Mayanos is definitely different.
Yeah, yeah. Anybody else see Yair Gallardo, Manotas Gallardo yesterday? Okay. Now listen,
I didn't
on
get to see it.
to I got excited, man, and I know it's probably not on anybody's news feed, but I saw Ryan Garcia hitting the bag, and I got fucking excited because I always drink the Kool-Aid with this motherfucker. But how about you guys? Are you guys done with Ryan? Are you guys excited that he's hitting the bag? And does he really live the boxing life, or is it just really surprising every time you see a workout video of his? I'm gonna start with you, Mile High. Are you excited for Ryan getting back in training, or are you done with it, Ryan?
Nah, I'm still out on him, man. He just, I don't know. I don't know if his mental's right. You see it a lot in
Yeah,
boxing. You see it a lot of, I see it a lot in my gym. Mental health is a very serious thing. A lot of these guys, when they're in the gym and they're training hard, their mental health is in order. When they're not in the gym, it's not good. And now you got, oh, I'm sorry. I was watching the thing on De La Hoya
Yeah.
and how famous he was and how he got that way. And this is before social media. So, social media, if you're not mature enough, can just be detrimental to your brand, you know what I mean? Which is, I don't know, man. I don't know if Ryan's a real fighter or he's a you know what I mean? Like in the I would even say like Jake Paul even, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah. Shit, I think Jake Paul at this point's more dedicated, but I still love Ryan, man. I'm on the Ryan train. When he's on, he's on. Chris, you excited that he's freaking hitting the bag and putting it out there? Are you done with this guy?
I just want to actually make a comment on the mental health with the social media thing. I don't
Please.
feel like you gotta have, because it kind of was like back then. These guys fought Saturday, by Sunday to Monday when the newspapers came out and everything. You had everything came all at once, the newspapers, the radios. So yeah, I know the social media spreads things fast. I feel like you just gotta have tough. You gotta have thick skin, because it goes both ways, man. Because when he knocked out Luke Campbell, it looked like he was gonna be the next thing on top of the world. When he knocked
Yeah.
out Devin Haney, he was, he looked like Oscar De La Hoya that night himself, and he was on top of the world until Canelo fight week, because that's when the Oscar ring thing came out. So I just feel like he's just gotta mature a little bit. Him losing to Rolly was really fucking bad though. Like I definitely didn't expect him losing to fucking Rolly. To be honest, definitely not the way he lost to Rolly, just looking completely, but hopefully he bounces back, man. Hopefully he bounces back. I've always had high hopes for Ryan, because he's the full package when it comes to, promoting a fighter and an exciting fighter. I've never actually seen a boring fight until the Rolly fight. So
Yeah.
always hoping for Ryan's for the best. He's one of the few, American stars that we have that we can count on in the game. So I'm always gonna root for him to, hopefully get that superstardom to where it needs to be.
All right, all right. Boxing with Chris is riding with PYP and Ryan. Albert, are you done with Ryan? Or are you excited to see that he's back in the gym?
I think the last few fights of Ryan is kind of like what Forrest Gump said. It's like a box of chocolates. You just don't know what you're gonna get. And it's pretty much. I mean, we've seen the ups and the downs of Ryan's fights, but he's exciting. He does bring an excitement to the sport. He does brought a lot of casuals to the sport, and wherever he fights, it's going to bring a lot of. It's going to bring numbers. Whether you like him or not, he's going to bring numbers.
Yeah, definitely, man. Ryan Garcia is the man, and he will make numbers. Anybody else have anything on that last topic?
What's a good comeback for Ryan, for a comeback fight for Ryan, considering he right now would have been
The
welterweight champion right now
the
had he
rematch, man.
beat.
The rematch with Rolly here. Nobody expected him to lose to Rolly. The
Yeah, but
rematch.
I've always, you gotta be firm with everybody. Rematches are calls for unwarranted, controversial or really close, and the fight
I
wasn't
hear
close
you.
or controversial. So it's hard to say he deserves a. We'll only be giving him a rematch for his ego at
I
this.
hear you. I
That's
hear you.
so.
Yeah. Mile High, what about that question Chris brought up? What's a good comeback for Ryan?
I would like to see him fight like a Conor Ben. You know what I mean? I'd love to see
Oh,
him and Conor Ben get it on.
yeah,
I
yeah,
love the way Conor Ben fights. I love with the passion he fights with. It to me, it looks like it's for all the right reasons he fights for. You know what I mean? And I don't
yeah.
know, man. I'm tired of fighters just wanting the bag. You know what I mean? And just that whole card in New York, that was a shit show, man. Rolly looked good. I would salute to Rolly. He looked like he really put in a lot of hard work. Tiafimo looked the best on the whole card, but the rest of them, it was
Yeah.
sad. It was like they were afraid to lose.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, Rolly did definitely step it up, man. I don't know if you guys know. I know Albert knows, but I spent time in camp with him in January, and yeah, he was pretty serious about it. But Albert, Chris's question there: who would you like to see Ryan back with? And yeah, I mean, is he right? He shouldn't get the Rolly fight because it's not warranted. He didn't show out.
I mean, That's a tough one, man, because it goes back to what we were talking about at the beginning. What realistic fight is out there for him? Because if they
Right.
could do a co-promotion, then maybe the Connor Benz, or maybe a rematch with Rowley, or maybe I don't know, maybe would Grace go up to 147 because Ryan fights at 147, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. Also, Duarte was talking about rematching him, but I mean,
I was gonna say that, but I mean Ryan won convincingly against Duarte, but I mean maybe the door's there for him to fight him again.
yeah. Does a Duarte though, Chris? Does last night's Duarte beat a Ryan right now?
It's a better fight, but now that I've been thinking, why not fight Jose Ramirez?
Right.
He's
Oh shit!
he's
There you
practically
go.
a welterweight now. When him and Devin Haney fought, it was at 143.
Yeah, that's a good one, man. What do
Why
you think?
not? He needs to just add a former champion to the resume. Not, it's not warranted. A victory is not warranted, but it'll definitely be a good fight to add on to your resume.
Yeah,
So Jose Ramirez,
Barbosa.
maybe, yeah, literally maybe take one of the losers from that Times Square card. Why not? And considering he didn't take any punishment. You lost a snoozer, yeah, you hit the canvas, but you didn't take any punishment. And
Right.
this was
yeah,
May, June, July, August. I don't see why we shouldn't see him in the ring around Halloween. No, we should see him in the ring before the years.
yeah,
Nothing, definitely, because he didn't take a lot of punishment and the fight wasn't made. So, and he's only 26 years old. So I don't see
yeah.
why we shouldn't see him in the ring at the end of the year. I don't want to see him come back in the spring of next year. That's unwarranted. Wasting, the best years of your prime right now.
Yeah, that's true. Mile High, what do you think, man? Do you want if he, when he does come back by the end of the year? Do you want to see him more active, man? Do you want to see Ryan more active?
Absolutely, all these youngsters used to be fighting at least 2, 3 times a year.
Yeah, yeah. Albert.
I have a quick question for Mile High Hustle. As a fighter, man, you feel like the inactivity has hurt Ryan in this last fight?
Did it hurt him?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Along with all the allegations of him being on performance enhancers, I think a lot of that hurt him. Um, he's not the most active, anyways. But at the same time, your youth, you only have it for so long, man. And it seems like your boxing career is prolonged a little just with the way they train now, and the everything and supplementation and stuff. Seems like the boxers they're lasting a lot longer than I think back in the day it would be 30, 33. You'd start seeing them out
Yeah,
of their prime, and seems like it's lasting a little. Like you see Bud, he's in his late 30s. You see Canelo getting up there already, and they're still fighting at a very high level. So you ain't got
yeah,
time, man. You ain't got time to waste. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
yeah. Hey, Chris, quick question, man. Are you Puerto Rican or Dominican or what?
I'm actually both.
You're Puerto Rican and Dominican. Wow. Can you
Yeah.
imagine this guy fighting? He'd have the best of both worlds there. Hey, listen. No, the reason I ask is Xander Zayas, Vergil Ortiz is our next topic. I don't know if you guys noticed, Mile High, Albert, Chris, over the weekend, we've had a little beef come up. I don't know if it was Vergil first, but Vergil came at Xander saying, look, man, you're 22 years old and you won the belt, but look who you won it with, not even a top 10 opponent. I fought better guys. I beat Orozco when I was 21, and Orozco had barely lost to Jose Ramirez, a guy that we're just talking about. And then Xander came back with a hard one. What do you say? Talk to me when you're a champion, a world champion. And then he mentioned his age. He's 27, hasn't done anything with it. Is Vergil jealous of Xander's success right now? And is Vergil right? Is Vergil right now better than Xander? I'll start with you, Albert, this time.
Um. And that's a tough question. But if that fight were to be made, it'd be very interesting because now, well, Top Rank doesn't have a home. You know. So
Yeah.
I mean, it'd be interesting to see if they were to fight. And I think Vergil Ortiz reached out to Xander, if I'm not mistaken. He said like congratulations on receiving a belt or something like that, and that's when the back and forth they went back and forth with each other. But I don't know, man. That'd be a tough. It'd be tough to see if it were to happen.
Now, right now, is Vergil better than Xander right now, in your opinion? Even though Xander's a world title holder?
And
Yes. But not by a lot, just due to the fact that he's been in there with good opposition. He's fought 2 top 10 guys already.
The Puerto Rican said this, guys. The Puerto Rican said this.
So, because it's true, that he he fought for a vacant belt, which wasn't his fault because they gave Fundora, all that money to fight Tim Zeus to make him vacate. That wasn't his fault. But considering who's Vergil Ortiz has fought, and at the route that Oscar De La Hoya has had him in with Madrimov, Bohachuk, Maurice Hooker, Kavalaskis, he's fought a good amount of competition.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, that goes into a play. But Vergil Ortiz has had his chances for the belts. Let's not act like he didn't turn away the Crawford fight. When Crawford was a champ at 147. So to each his own. Definitely right now, Vergil is the more complete fighter, but Xander's got a higher ceiling, I believe. At 22, I don't believe Xander has his man strength. That's my only question with him. I want to see the man strength, and he's got to get that vet in. When you're 22, you got to get that vet, that 30-year-old, that guy that's just like a Lubin maybe. That's the fight I've been wanting, a Xander, a slick boxer with some pop. I want to see him in there with a guy that's going to ruffle his feathers because he just went from hunting to now being the hunted. So let's see how he handles being in that predicament.
Yeah, Mile High, what do you think, man? You think Vergil was sitting there Saturday night watching this guy get the victory and looking at his dad and said, "Chinga, man, this guy fucking gets the belt and I'm over here 27 busting my ass this whole fucking time and I ain't got shit. Fuck that vato." You know what I mean? Was he kind of like having that hater mode on him?
No, I don't think so. I think Vergil Ortiz is right where he wants to be. I think if that fight happens today, I think it's bad for Xander, to be honest with you.
Wow,
But
okay.
he's 22. He's still, like you said, like Chris said, he's got to grow into his man strength. You don't know if he's growing into that. He could be a late bloomer. Madrimov, I thought that was gonna be I thought that was gonna be his toughest test, and look, he handled him with ease. He made him look bad.
Yeah.
Hey, Mark, how realistic do you think that fight could possibly be made within the next year and a half?
Not in nowhere. I don't think it'll happen until 2 years because of the age of Xander. And he's on top of the world right now. And to be honest with you, and answer this for me, guys, I'll go around. Right now, I think Xander's a bigger star than a Vergil. So why would Bob put his big star in trouble with a guy who's not that famous? I think Xander has the bigger fame today. I don't know, Mile High. What do you think? Who's got the bigger fame?
I think Vergil does, but obviously Xander's got the world title. He's got the world title, so you can't take that away from him. That comes with something to it. But
Do you think?
Bob's part of a promoter. He ain't gonna let nobody promote off his fighter like that. You know what I mean? He's gonna let him grow.
Right. You think it'll happen within a year and a half to fight?
No.
No. How about you, Chris? Do you think who's a bigger name right now? And if is it going to happen in a year and a half, or maybe no, because Xander's the bigger name and Bob ain't going to feed him over there right now?
I'm still gonna have to go with Vergil. Considering that there's a good chance that whoever he fights next is gonna be better than anybody Xander Zayas has fought to date. So still got to go with Vergil in the terms of opposition. But like I said, Xander does have the higher ceiling, I believe. But let's see, because at the end of the day, we never know. I feel like the conversation will be different, or the conversation would speed up maybe if once Vergil Ortiz gets a belt, because he's been in 2 divisions. He hasn't had a belt yet in either division, so he's got to do something. I'm surprised how they haven't, but in a way, I like the way Oscar De La Hoya is thinking, how they were trying to match him up with Bakram, and he's like, this is a guy that just fought Bohachuk, now Madrimov. We can't always be tossing guys into dogs, and so in a way, I understand it, but clock's ticking, 27, so man, it's hard because you want him to be a star, or you want him to be a champion.
Yeah. Now, who takes the blame? Mile High, I'll start with you. Who takes the blame for Vergil not being a champion yet? Vergil himself? because we know he's turned down a few fights, or his promoter Oscar?
Got to be on both of them. You know what I mean? It's on both of
Yeah,
them. Yeah. He had a fight with he could have fought Crawford. I don't know how that would have turned out for him. You know what I mean? I think Crawford's at the top of his game.
at that time, yeah, he was a lot better. Yeah, yeah. How about you, Chris? What do you think, man?
I want to see where it goes. I'm still skeptical because ever since De La Hoya made that comment, he showed me that he plans to manage Vergil Ortiz well, because we know when a fighter wants to fight, the promoter has no choice but to listen to him. Because when Ryan Garcia practically said, "You're gonna get me Gervonta Davis," he had no choice. He said, "I don't want this fight." He straight up said, "I didn't want the fight. I believe it could have waited, but that's what he wanted." He said he wouldn't fight unless it was Gervonta Davis, so we had to take it.
Yeah,
So definitely got to agree with Mile High. It's a both guy thing. I believe promoters have to take more of an advising role. I get promoting is your job, but advising a fighter should be part of the job, and it should be in the job description, because those two go hand in hand. So definitely, if I had to put the blame on somebody or split the pie, it's about 55-45 Virgil's way.
okay, yeah. And Al, what do you think?
I definitely agree with Mile High and Chris on this one, but I
Both
also
of them?
think, yeah, but I also think his health played a role also, because we know how he got sick
Oh yeah,
and he was out for long periods of time, so that did give him a setback to get him closer to a world title.
yeah. All right, guys. Thank you, guys. Thank you for all those questions. That's all I had. But listen, guys, stay with me a couple of more minutes here. We have Mile High Hustle here, and I wanted to ask him a few questions. Mile High, you had your debut. Obviously, I was there for some of your amateur fights. I was calling them on. I was doing my best Max Kellerman chinga. Pero, hey, man, listen, you look a lot more chiseled than back a year ago, man. Pero, hey, how old were you on your debut, man? And what was the fight like?
I'm still 49, so I'm 49. I know a lot of people think that's crazy. It was good, man. I had to do all kinds of stuff for the Colorado Commission. They weren't too happy about the YouTube fight, so I had to talk to them.
Oh, really?
Uh,
Okay.
yeah, they wasn't too happy about that. So, you know, it was cool, man. I had to do an EKG. I had to go do it's called a safe fitness test, which is for like senior citizens. Passed with flying colors. They just wanted to make sure there was no liability. The dude I got in against, it was his first fight, but he was a monster. He was like 374 pounds, strongman competition. And, we ended up closing the show. And the reason being, we shouldn't have, but the promoter was so worried about the amount of weight that was in the ring. He was worried that if the ring collapsed early in the fight, then the card would have been scrapped. You know what I mean? So he let us fight last. It was a lot of pressure. I was in front of a lot of people, and it was eye opening. It was cool. I had to close the show, which my teammate, it was a state champion. He's got a national title as well. He actually got the knockout right before I fought, so it put a lot of pressure on me. You know what I mean? But we was ready to fight, and we
Yeah.
got a unanimous decision. It wasn't pro; it's pro am, so it's basically it was 3 2-minute rounds, 1 minute rest with no headgear. Um,
Uh-huh.
it went by real fast. We shut him out. I felt this little disrespected going in there because they did a promotion and had it on like a pay-per-view thing, and they did a big old story on him about how he was transitioning from strongman into boxing. And you know what? I kind of knew. My sparring partner's 350, and he got some Mexican style. He just comes forward and he got a gas tank. So I wasn't worried about being in there with such a big man because, like I said, I see that all the time in sparring against my partner Chewy, and
Yeah.
I felt like I was just ready. It was an easy fight. I think my sparring sessions were way harder than the fight. The Colorado Commission all came up to me and was really happy with the performance. Was really like, oh, you guys, I had their blessing, and it was awesome. So
Yeah.
it's
Chris,
cool, man. It's cool.
I got
I'm 50 years old. I'm challenging myself. I'm still in great shape. You know, we're just gonna keep pressing on. We might, do some. We want to do some. How do you say? We're gonna do some fundraising for kids and stuff. We're gonna do some charity work. You know what I mean?
Yeah, awesome, man. That's good. Chris, what do you think, man? Any questions for a 49-year-old man getting in there and fighting for the first time?
Yeah, inspiration. What keeps you going at this age? When this is considered a young man's sport. You're young in life, but you're a dinosaur in the ring at that age,
Yes,
basically.
absolutely. Um, you know what, man? I've always taken care of my body. I never drank, smoked. Um, always stayed in pretty good shape. I used to bodybuild. Um, I fought on the streets numerous times. I used to spend my times in, I was I never had the money to box, so I didn't have money to get a card or anything. But I would hang out in the gym with my cousins. We would spar in the backyard. I'd get my ass beat by them all the time, and I just learned how to fight, man. And when I walked into the gym, of course, I got beat up by all the other guys. And when you walk into a gym, you got a certain look. You could put an X on your back. You know what I mean? And me walking into the gym that I walked into, it just they pushed me, man. You really have to make a choice. Is this what you want to do? Is it worth it? To me, it is, man. I fight demons every day, and to me, it's nothing to get your ass whipped, get bloodied up or beat up. They heal, bruises heal. Um, you know, if I start seeing it taking a toll on my body, I'll obviously back up. I'm old enough, I'm wise enough to know that. This is just for inspiring. Like Chris said, thank you. I appreciate that, man. It's just to let people know that what, just because you're 50 years old, don't mean you have to stop doing what you love. You still have something to offer, and it's cool, man. I'm gonna do it for as long as I want to do it. And if it starts to become a strain on me, my family, or my health, then I'll quit.
Yeah. I got one question, and I'll let Albert get the last question. But how tall are you, Mahai?
6'2". I'm 6'2", and I fought at about my same weight that I fought Boxer at, which was 247.
Yeah, listen, I mean, you obviously had a lot of athletic ability. You must have played some sports in the day. Do you have, now that you're boxing and, I called one of your fights and we were out there and all of us have seen a lot of boxing and, everybody was telling you how amazing you are. And man, like, we even tell you got Larry Holmes fighting style with them freaking long ass arms you have. They call you the Mexican Larry Holmes. But do you think to yourself now because now that you see that you're pretty good, do you kind of, does any regret not starting earlier?
A ton. To be honest with you, I did, but I didn't have the mental attribute. I don't know. What makes me great, here's the thing. My coach told me this. He was like, man, I started. My coach is a promoter. He's also a coach, but he was like, I started losing my way. And I go, what do you mean? And he goes, I didn't care anymore. I come into the gym just to run the gym, and I really didn't care about putting any kind of knowledge into anybody. Or, and he said, and somebody changed that for me. And I go, who's that? And he pointed at me, and I was like, man, you don't know who you inspire. This is my coach telling me this, and he's been around boxing his whole life, and
Yeah.
he looks at me and he tells me, man, you put that fire back on me. He goes, you come in here and work harder than. He was like, I wish some of my, I got champions, Conrad, that don't work as hard as you do. They don't come in here and put the time in. He goes, I was talking to the kids and like, he's in here every day. Every day he's in here. He gets injured. He'll still be in here. He comes in here. He demotes it, he pushes his time, it means something to me. I look at those kids and I just want to show them there's another way. You know what I mean? I messed up a lot. There's a lot of regret in my life. I did prison time, but I wish I would have walked in there at an earlier age. Would I have been ready for it? I don't know, but
Well,
and
we
now
also,
this is
man,
what,
everybody's
God
seen you
put
fight. We
before
also
me,
think you got it.
and that, yeah, it's like I said, I love the sport. I've always loved the sport. I've always felt like I've had a style that I could mimic pretty much anybody. You know what I mean? And I feel like I move pretty graceful for an old man. You know what I mean? Some of the guys, I sparred with 18, 19, 20 something year olds. My partner Chewy's 32. He's a juggernaut, man. But I love the sport, man, and as long as I could still do it and be you know, just be competitive, I'm grateful.
Albert, go ahead.
There was a fighter here in Texas. I'm not gonna mention names, but when the commission feels like it's a risk, they make them jump through hurdles. They have to pay also those hurdles. Is it the same over there in Colorado? Did you have to pay for those hurdles, all those exams?
Absolutely, I had to pay for a lot of them. I had to personally go to my own doctor for the EKG, um, the safe test. Matter of fact, my doctor didn't even perform that. I had to go to another doctor and get that done. They were afraid, and I understand. I get it. after the fight, they were really surprised. I had them all walking up to me like, man, I did not expect that. I thought this was going to be a spectacle. And I thought I dominated, dude. You know what I mean? I dominated him. I didn't run from him. I was in his face the whole night. He couldn't. I hit him with multiple heavy shots. It was way better than my other fight. I kind of fought with my hands down, which I normally don't do, but I knew he couldn't close distance on me. So I controlled the whole fight. It was good. It was fun, man. It was fun. I'm looking forward to another one. We'll see what happens. You know, God's in control, and all I'm gonna do is just keep doing what I can do. That's it.
All right, man. Well, thank you guys for joining us. It was a great show. Listen, we had all parts of the country covered today. We had a damn great reporter join us, Boxing with Chris over in New York. We got South Texas Boxing here from Texas, and we got Colorado in the house. We had some great coverage around America. Chris, thank you for joining us with your expertise. Albert, thank you very much. Mile High, thanks, man. Listen, go out there and catch this guy's fight. I did call it. It's Mile High against Boxer, right? Is that what it's called? Mile High? It's Boxer.
Oh, the ones on Chicano Street. The ones on Chicano Street. That's on
Chicano Street.
Mikey's other channel, so it's there for free. And then my boxing match with what's his name, Casey, the Celtic Hammer Walters, is on my channel. So if you guys want to catch it, I greatly appreciate it. Thank you, gentlemen, for your time and your boxing knowledge. Much appreciated.
Yeah. Thank you, guys. Thank everybody. Chris, we'll catch you later. Albert, we'll talk to you later. And Mile High, man, thank you for coming out and continue to inspire all those kids out there, man. Thank you guys very much. We'll see you on the next one.
Anytime. Thanks for having me on, buddy.
Thank you for having me.